Live from the bathroom at Pump.
He's starting and I can't stop him.
I mean the pump room at Bath.
Ooh. Oh, that would be lovely.
That's a famous blooper. There was a radio broadcast from the pump room for the mineral water.
Right.
They call it the pump room.
I know, dear. It's been called that since Jane Austen's time, I do believe.
Yes.
Where we all wanted to go to Bath.
And the announcer at the BBC said, "And now from the bathroom at Pump." Anyway, yes, we're an hour and 15 minutes late, but that's okay because you were
patient, I hope.
You were patient, and we love you.
And we did our best.
Yes, we did. And I'm going to turn it over here to, now she's in her best Catholic girls' school uniform. There she is.
It actually is Ross, previously, when I would go shopping, would have, I think it would be August and early September, would have sales on school uniforms for Catholic schools and other private and schools that require uniforms. And if you get the extra large one, you could get a Catholic schoolgirl shirt.
I love the little collar there.
It's
Look at the collar.
Anyway, so.
How pious.
And I do like the last two popes, strangely. The only two I've ever liked.
Yeah.
But other than that.
We like the way they dress, too.
Yeah, that's right. I do. I love a man in uniform.
In uniform. Yeah, like the Pope.
Oh, goodness. We've had lovely weather for a week. And to say that in October is shocking here. We've had some previous winters when we've had so many terrible, not that it's not going to happen tomorrow, because they can't predict. What are those giant storms called? I had to tip of my tongue.
Yeah, bomb cyclones and psychedelic rivers. And,
terrible things. Anyway, so previously, even in September, and it's been in the high 70s, low 80s, and although cool at night.
It'll be high 80s today.
And cool at night. And I'm actually blissed out because I sort of have seasonal affective disorder. I can't stand it I can't stand it when it's cloudy. Even though I like to take walks at night, that's different. In the daytime, I like bright sun. So, and I don't need to live in the desert where it never rains. It's just when it's not doing anything, it's a bit depressing. So, but we've had great weather, and a miracle of miracles, we actually paid money to someone. I've saved money for a long time. Cat babysitting and parts of class money and other things. They broke our first piece of furniture we ever had. Lon called the sewing table, but I don't think it is that. It's some kind of a, anyway, that Charlie D. Lon's
Charles Harris.
Partner, his father, Jack Harris, gave us a beautiful oak table, and we used it for Jean Paul's first Christmas tree. And in fact, it was our first Christmas tree because we didn't have one our own until we had that table. And we used to put the TV on, and used to sit beside use it for rituals and everything. And when the movers got,
we've evoked demons on that table.
Oh, demons! I don't know about demons, but anyway, it's been part of our life in every house we've had, and it got the movers were.
When we moved up here, yes.
Yes, when they destroyed it. I mean, utterly.
Destroyed it.
They cracked.
Splintered the legs.
They splintered the legs. They put stuff on it, and it splintered the legs. They put stuff on it they should never have weight. And it has delicate legs. And the poor thing is like that scratch cover on it and everything. It's not, in the best of shape, but it still looks nice. Because it has beautiful legs. Anyway, it was broken. You couldn't even find all the pieces. I felt like it had happened to all four of my legs at the time. It was really bad. And we keep our incense and our little treasury things in there. And it's just
that's where I kept foreign coins that I'd give out at class.
That's right. So it's, anyway, to make a very long story short, We have a furniture repair guy we've found, and he doesn't do like antique restoration. He's not quite that quality,
But he's really good.
but he's a nice man. He comes, picks up chairs that are loose and things because we can't have people in class falling. And anyway, so he was willing to take it on, and it's a little wonky still. But it's
That's
got all,
okay.
but it's I almost cried when he brought it back. I mean,
It's like a family member.
yeah, it works, and it's and I swear other things went right this week. Besides, the weather was good after we got the table, and I found my exercise CD that I hadn't been able to find in 4 years, which happens to be a Depeche Mode album that Jean Paul gave me a long time ago. But I like it because it has a good beat to exercise through all the way through.
Reach out, touch space.
Yeah. Anyway,
Da, 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 da,
it's
da,
great. We know all the words.
da, da, da,
It's
da.
not that I like all the songs in particular. It's great to exercise by it. It's invigorating, and I've done it for like since 20 years or whatever, and then I couldn't find it, and a bunch of other kind of weird things, and it's like I wish he could fix knees, but that's not what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about both of us by accident. Although we had a nice class last night and we scried an Enochian, something from Vision and the Voice. And
17th Aether.
yeah, which, it's funny because I came in the afternoon from almost finishing my coffee. I decided I've had enough, and I brought the clothes in off the line because they were nice, and I like crunchy towels, and they were crunchy and happy. And I went into Lon's office and started babbling something about
Justice.
because I'm always babbling about something about Mott and justice and across the abyss.
And that's just what I was preparing you. Yeah.
He didn't tell me because I said I didn't want to know what class was going to be like because I didn't want to prepare for it. I didn't want to cheat. I wanted to scribe with everybody else. And so anyway, it was a nice coincidence. People probably thought I did cheat, but I had no idea what he was going to do the class on. So it's just what I was talking about. And he didn't tell me when I mentioned it in the afternoon either. Oh, this is what class is going to be about. So anyway, but we were going to talk about routines today. I mean, I was first, and then I found out, of course.
That's what I was going to
That's
talk
what
about. Yeah.
Mom was going to talk about. We used to do together. He'll talk about it too. A long time ago, we called it playing Monastery because if you don't belong to a monastery or in prison,
Yeah.
or maybe just have a baby or pets to take care of, or well, okay. You don't have a set routine, and you think that's okay. Now, there's something to be said about being crazy about your set routine and not deviating from it, and having adventure. And I kind of learned routine from my parents because I'm a Pisces, and my parents were both Earth, a Capricorn and a Taurus, and luckily, one of the wonderful things they gave me was stability. And I knew when I woke up that my father was probably already had breakfast and off to work, and my mother had, done a bunch of stuff too. And I knew that we were not going to miss a meal, and it was usually pretty close to on time. In those days, everybody did that though in that town. Everybody was on the same routine. But and we went to church on Sunday and went to Grandma's house and that kind of. It was, and on Sunday afternoons we drove around and looked at the houses. Same routine, because my father built things, and so it was. Anyway, we played Monastery for a while because
3 years.
yeah. That's how long Lon says it was 3 years, and
Thank you.
I know. Oh, that helps. And we didn't speak until after breakfast, or till breakfast time, which was around 9:30, 10 o'clock in those days.
We
And
called it the Rule of St. Constance, the monastery
is that what
rule.
you called it?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah.
But anyway, and Lon really liked it a lot because I like to talk and he doesn't like to listen. So for a couple hours a day, I would not be trying to talk to him. This is all I usually do is just try anyway. So there is no talking to him.
Yes.
Lon does not converse. No, he gives lectures and talks. He talks to people.
Huh? Oh, what'd you say?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I would, and then for like 20, 30 years, I had an exercise routine where I would do outdoor stuff and indoor stuff and go upstairs and pretend I was meditating and read some kind of holy book thing every day and from the holy books and do pranayama. And truly 20 some years I had a really good routine, 30 maybe, always. And I would always go for walks at night too. Otherwise, I had the same. I've always made sure we had some kind of routine, and we didn't skip a meal. And because if you have a child, you want to feed them, and they had nap times. I like having a routine for half the time, at least, and the other half at the time is inspiration time, where you still might be doing work, but it's stuff that has popped up and it's calling your name when you want to do it, or you think, oh, now it's time to clean the refrigerator. It just comes upon you when something falls out funny that you don't
Look at the
like.
clock. It's time to clean the refrigerator.
Who cares what time it is? No, it's more like, who cares what time it is? Time to clean the refrigerator. You can feel it, the moon is telling you. Anyway, the moon was beautiful last night. The ambrosial moon. Anyway.
But you digress.
Yeah, I digress. But the good thing about routine is that it helps you find stability. And that's why people enjoy the monastery, because it makes you feel safe and predictable in part of your life, so you can actually let your inspiration and the part of your life that's not physical and on time leave the sphere of time and the physical part and be inspired, and I hate to have go to a different level of existence for a little while. So you have to find stability in yourself if you don't live in a monastery, or find stability in yourself. That's very difficult for me.
Especially in these days of wildness.
Oh, it's always been wild, but
yeah,
but it always has
it's
to.
especially wild.
Well, it's hard to find comforting things to do, especially so. But it's good to have a routine, just to find stability in yourself. And Lon is doing that because he speaks with you.
Yes, I tried to do it every day.
Yeah, so it's just part of his work for a while. But although it's also play, and that's a good thing too. So I know I was going to say something else, but I think that probably is enough. But it's good to try to, and it's also good to have it helps your physical biorhythms.
Yeah.
Of eating and sleeping. If you're just even close, you don't have to be exactly on time, but just relatively eat something in the part of the day and part of the time. Do something regular to find physical stability, which helps bring mental stability, which helps bring emotional stability and spiritual stability. So. And what it is just practice and pretending. And it also helps you feel grateful for some reason. I feel more grateful if I feel safe and stable. And when you feel grateful, you tend to want to forgive everybody
spread it around.
You want to forgive everybody for the crap they deal you. and realize it's crap, but it's not really hurting you. And I used to we used to have a balcony at the last house, well, that you couldn't step out on, but you could open the windows upstairs in the little loft we had. And I would actually open the windows, and there was a school across the street and people walking by, and they wouldn't see me. I would actually start blessing. I figured if the Pope could go on the balcony and bless people,
So could you.
so could I. So, and just start, blessing whatever. All the kids across the street or somebody walking there, and then all of a sudden just spread it out to all your friends and relatives and people you care about, and then people you don't care about, because it's good to bless them because they probably need it more than people you do care about. And anyway.
And it makes you feel good.
Yeah, it makes you feel good. So make part of your routine, for want of a better word, forgiving people of things they didn't really do to you or couldn't do to you, because it's really hard to hurt somebody, or it's easy to offend somebody, but actually hurt them probably doesn't ever happen. And so forgive that stuff, and then just generally bless everything. It'll make you feel good.
Well,
I'm so through with babbling this morning.
oh, that's a
Lon let me have
pretty good babble.
I had 3 good sips of his co-op coffee this morning.
Yeah, the coffee's really good this morning.
You know,
I really like the coffee. It's really, 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 really good.
Sips really work. So I have to gather my things.
Gather your things. I'll take the camera off you
Thank you.
and put it on me. Hello. Let's see. We'll start over again. From the bathroom at Pump. Let's see. I'm going to set this up right here. And
Don't worry, honey, you won't be snubbed.
oh, please let us not be snubbed. Which one was that? Was that?
I don't remember. It wasn't.
That wasn't Sense and So.
I don't remember.
Might have been Emma. No.
No.
Emma's father was cool. Anyway, I'm sure somebody will tell us here. Yes, as a matter of fact, there's a whole chapter in my book, Homemade Magic. Now, Homemade Magic's been out of print. Llewellyn let it go out of print, and I got the rights back to it because it's one of my favorite and most helpful books.
And everybody is worthy of making their own holy routines and blessing people, by the way. Why do you think you're not qualified? If you're born, you're qualified.
I agree.
Thank you.
And when you think about the nightmarish world of Eastern and Western Europe, and during the feudal ages, the one place of stability was the monastery.
The only place you could find something to read.
The only place and people who could read.
Right.
And
Right.
and the same thing with the great institution of the monasteries in Tibet, and
Everywhere.
and
The ashrams in India.
I have a feeling. Thank you, dear. I have a feeling that all of that stability is helping hold the world together as much as it's being held together. But anyway, this is what the old Llewellyn book, Homemade Magic, looks like. And this and low magic go together really well. But I'm going to wait for this truck to go by. I was lucky enough for the good folks at a wonderful publishing house called Schiffer is publishing Homemade Magic, and it will be out, I believe, in the spring of 27. And if I know anything about the quality of Schiffer books, it will definitely be a gorgeous book, and I've got new chapters and things like that in it. So, but I do have a chapter on this monastery thing. And I'm just going to read part of it because the rule of the monastery of St. Constance. Okay, here's the daily routine. Sunrise Resh. We adore the sun at dawn by standing together facing east and reciting the morning section of Liber Resh, the solar adoration recommended for daily use by Thelemic magicians. And that's solar adorations. Hail unto thee who art Ra on thy rising, etc., etc. Then the morning bell. Okay, after Resh, Constance rings a bell. And our bell is a small brass bell we've used in personal rituals since we were first married. We're very sentimental about these things. Then the morning period of silence. The ringing of the bell signals a period of complete silence. Any communication between us is strictly nonverbal, and at times very comical. The silent period usually lasts from 2 to 3 hours until breakfast is prepared and we are ready to eat. Until then, we proceed with our morning devotions in strict silence. If you've never tried this, it's not only relaxing, but oddly liberating. If nothing else, it quickly proves just how much of our daily chatter is completely useless, unpredictable, and even hurtful. Next is the morning devotion. Here's what the devotions are while we're being silent here. After taking turns in the bathroom, we have one bathroom, we began our morning devotions. Constance begins by lighting a stick of incense and moving through the entire house in a clockwise direction, sensing and blessing each room. The sensing is accomplished by a profoundly simple ceremony, a breathing technique she developed whereby she projects her love with each exhalation of her breath and accepts the love of the universe with each inhalation. The house duly blessed and smelling great. She then retires upstairs to the loft, which also serves as my library, where she has a small floor altar set up. There she lights a candle and sits down to perform pranayama. She ends her devotional period each morning by reading from what she calls her desert island books. Constance then stands up, opens the loft window, and blesses the entire neighborhood and the world. She then blows out the candle, or snuffs the candle, I'm not sure she blows it all the time, and goes downstairs to do laundry, feed the cat, and make our breakfast. I told you she was a saint. While Constance was doing her thing in the house, I take my morning devotionals to the backyard patio. There I perform, for all the neighbors to witness, a not-so-quiet banishing pentagram ritual. Then do a couple of stretches and sit down for a period of pranayama, followed by mentally chanting a mantra that I have developed. During the 3 years we played Monastery, my daily routine expanded and evolved considerably. My banishing developed into a combination ceremony of invocation and banishing that I use to this day. My meditations continue until I hear the bell ringing, which signals the end of the period of silence and breakfast. Breakfast. Constance insists, and who am I to argue with St. Constance, that we eat breakfast outside in the patio area of our backyard. We do this every day. The only exception to this is when it is raining hard. If it's just very cold or just sprinkling, we still eat outside. Now this is all Of course, changed since we've moved to Sacramento. Will. Before eating, we break our period of silence by saying will over our food. One of us knocks 11 times, 353, with our knife, spoon, or chopstick, and says, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. What is thy will? It's my will to eat and drink. To what end? That my body may be fortified thereby. To what end? That I may accomplish the great work. Love is the law, love under will. We say that part together. After breakfast, we go about our day as normally, if we were not playing Monastery, pausing only to say resh at noon, sunset, and midnight if we're up that late, and saying will before our meals. Okay. We did that, and I go into detail with all of exactly what we say and stuff in that chapter called Let's Play Monastery. Anyway, I think it is pretty important that when all hell is breaking loose around us, it's very nice to have something that anchors us, even momentarily, into spiritual introspection. Instead of rage at the events surrounding us, or the fear that it instills, and the hatred and the anger that is triggered by our dwelling on those matters, many of which are beyond our control, some of which are within our control. But one thing that is within our own control is our own self-discipline. And sometimes those minutes, those seconds, those moments of quiet meditation are the only true moments of us being in tune with our essential existence. And all the rest is a distraction. Anyway, I was going to do one more thing, if you don't mind. I've learned the technique. Hang on a second. I learned the technique of the divinatory practice that is really sort of a form of astrological divination. Now, ironically, because it uses so many of the components of astrological, the art of astrology, ironically, it brings the stars to the earth itself, and it's called the Oracle of Geomancy. Now, the great scholar Stephen Skinner has written what I consider is the most complete and usable book that he calls the Oracle of Geomancy. Now, and it uses, like the I Ching uses 6 lines, and each line's either a broken one or an unbroken one. Geomancy, in sort of keeping to the 4 corners of the earth and the stability of Earth, uses only 4 lines, and each of those lines is either an odd number or is either indicated by a 1 or a dot or a 2 dots. Okay, so you've got 16 ways, okay, that you can combine those. And there is an entire, actually it was probably most popular and gained its the height of its art form in the Renaissance. And geometry was used as an oracular device for a long time. And to tell you the truth, I don't resonate that well to it, although I've, in a sense, I've felt obliged to at least try to master the technique of it. I respond more to the I Ching, and I respond more to the classic tarot, and that may be because I'm such a shitty astrologer, and I'm surrounded by really good astrologers. Okay, but anyway, here's the deal. Okay, let me see if I can hold all of this. There are 16 geometric figures, and they look like this. Okay, you see the four lines, and they're either two of them for even numbers, or one representing an odd number. Okay, and there's two kinds of the sun for Fortuna Major and Fortuna Minor, and there's two kinds of moon. Okay, there's Via and Populus for waxing and waning moon. Then we've got Acquisitio for Jupiter, Jupiter Fire, Sag, Jupiter Water. Okay, and my Latin's terrible, so I'm not going to try to pronounce them all. But because it was Earth, the divinatory meanings are sort of in your face, no holds barred, frank. Well, this is the way it is, you poor bastard. You know, yes, or you're going to die of the plague tomorrow, kind of thing. But what makes it astrological is all of that gets itself projected onto a horoscope. And these different figures, and I'll show you how the figures are arrived at, are then projected upon a horoscope wheel, or in this case, a square. And then you read those like an astrologer would read Jupiter in the second house, or and then interpret it like that. And like I say, I'm a shitty astrologer. I'm too lazy to be a decent astrologer. Okay, too stupid. I just don't resonate to it. But there are lots of people that do. There's also a quick and dirty way to arrive at your a quick and dirty question and answer. That although it's still projected against that zodiacal wheel or square, there's a cut to the chase answer that distills all the figures that you arrive at, distills them into just two figures. And when those two figures are combined together, like you would add at the top, which is called the head, if it's on one of the figures, it's two dots, and another figure, it's one dot. When you add them together, that's 3, and 3 is odd, and that turns 2 plus 1 equals 1, because it's an odd number. Okay, and that is like this. You start off with just 4 figures, and you arrive at that in different ways. The traditional ways is a box of dirt, or even an area that where you flatten out dirt and you take a stick, and after you do your invocation of a specific, usually a planetary, this has to do with the death or the health of somebody. I'm going to invoke Saturn, okay? But it's Saturn as it applies to Earth, okay? So there's our Zazel, okay? And you do it with an invoking pentagram of Earth. And you stick your Zazel sigil inside that invoking pentagram of Earth, and that kicks it off. And then you poke the ground with your sharpened stick, and then somehow count the dots in like 16 levels of the dirt that lays before you. In other words, you get it from Earth itself. Well, I'm a lazy bastard, okay? Well, I'm not a bastard. Mom got married, okay? But I made and baked 4 dice, okay? And on one side of the dice is a single dot, and on the other side is a double dot. And that same 1, 2 opposite each other, I do on all 6 sides. So I've got 6 of these suckers, and they're made out of clay. And I throw them kind of like I throw a I Ching hexagram, and I throw them 4 times to create those 4 mother images. Okay. And then I fill in the blanks. I put the 4 mother images. Okay. And create those 4 side-by-side things. Then, and in this case, I ask about the impending health or death of just an arbitrarily famous individual, and just as an experiment here. And there is my 4 mothers. Now, you create then, using those 4 mothers, you create 4 daughters by adding the mother heads, the mother necks, the mother bodies, and the mother feet. And then from the mothers and the daughters, there's this next level, you create 4 more by combining all of those and reducing them to that. Then you reduce those into a right witness and a left witness. And then you add them together to get the judge. And that judge is your main answer. Okay, that's sort of your coin flip yes or no answer. Now, there are a set of questions that over the years have been distilled down to 16 kind of questions that out of those you choose one of them that most matches your question, or you read all 16 in their proper house. Will he or she have a long life? 2. Will he or she become rich? 3. Should I or they undertake this project? 4. How will the undertaking end? 5. Is the expected child a boy or a girl? 6. Are the servants or employees honest? Will the patient soon recover from his or her illness? Will the lover succeed in getting his lover? Will the inheritance be obtained? Will the lawsuit be won by me? Will I or he or she get the job? how will he or she die? Will the expected letter arrive? Will the voyage be successful? Will good news arrive soon? Will the adversary be conquered? Those are the 12 highly generic questions to which those two judges combining, or those two witnesses, right and left, distill themselves into the judge, which is the quick and dirty answer to that. So what we've got here, I asked that question concerning the general health and mortality details of the individual in question. And here's what I've got. Acquisitio is the answer. Okay, now I turned to the handy dandy Stephen Skinner book, which is for this section he didn't innovate anything at all. He left the classic thing classic. It's a good book, excellent book. So here is the meanings of all of those, all 16 of those. And because it concerned health, I looked first at, will the patient soon recover from his or her illness? The answer is dies. And the first one was, will he or she have a long life? And the answer to that question would be, he will die early. And the third one is, should he undertake this project? And that answer is difficult beginning, but a good end. Okay, this is the one I really get a kick out of. Are the servants or employees honest? And it says worthless. Okay. 16, will the adversary be conquered? And from the point of view of the person we're asking, the adversary is stronger than you. And let's see, hang on. 12, how will he or she die? And the answer is fever. Anyway, if you're at all interested in what I think is the astrological science of geomancy, or the Earth Oracle, I strongly encourage you, there's lots of books on the market and everything else, but if you want sort of like one-stop sort of encyclopedia and helpful book, Dr. Stephen Skinner's The Oracle of Geomancy is probably one of the first things that you should pick up. Now, Crowley did a little handbook of geomancy, and there's other very good ones out there that more or less help me better understand all of this. And I think I've showed you before, I've made a clay earth box that I could smooth out the grade school modeling clay kind of thing. But I could spread it out with a spatula or a trowel, and I took an arrow point and did it all like that. When I was learning this many years ago, 50 years ago now, I was all excited to give it a try, and I had Constance. I said, "Ask a question, and she says, "I don't want to do a dirt oracle," and she called it like that. And I said, "Oh, give these things some respect, you know." But she did it anyway. And she got Rubeus in the first house, which according to some geomantic divination is when you get that in the first house, you go, well, that's it. I'll stop the divination there. That's the earth doesn't want to talk to me right now. So she got her Rubeus in the first house, and so she stayed away from it ever since. But every once in a while, I pick it up and try to get an answer. Anyway, boy, I think I've really gone long today. I apologize terribly. Most of you are ready for lunch, and half of you are ready for dinner. And some of you a midnight snack there in Scotland. Anyway, until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself. Be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under well.